This is Bastiaan, and this is a game I played using the Polish opening. Now there are many ways to play the Polish. I myself am a Cole Zukertort style of player, so we are going to see those types of tactics in the game. Polish starts with b4, knight f6, bishop to b2, and black plays e6. Now, if black were to play e5, creating an attack on the b4 pawn, in the Polish we can immediately recapture the e5 pawn. However, e6 was played, which just targets b4, and I've got nothing to counterattack. If the knight wasn't played to b6, I can play bishop takes g7 with an attack on the rook, but black is set up rather nicely at the moment. So all that's happening now is an attack on b4 pawn. So there are a few options. I can bring in some defense, or I can advance the pawn. So I choose to advance the pawn. Pawn goes to b5, and this immediately prevents the knight development to c6, among other things. b6, e3. So e3 is designed to protect the pawn on b5, also to free up the diagonal for the bishop. Bishop b7, so black fianchettos. Knight to f3. Knight to f3 blocks the diagonal of the bishop, so I can freely move my own bishop without the risk of bishop takes pawn. And black plays bishop to e7, getting ready to castle. Also, still keeping options open to develop in the center with pawn to d5, for instance, if he so chooses. a4, bringing in another defender for the pawn on b5. a6. So now black wants to crack open this small pawn island. So I'm not going to waste time and give him free development. So I just continue with developing in the center with pawn to d4. Black castles, bishop to d3. Now pawn takes pawn. Now recapture. And at this point black can attack my rook on a1, but it's defended by the bishop on b2. But the same is true for black. His rook is defended by his bishop, but black exchanges first. Take, and our bishops are still on the strong diagonals. Notice that black is still unable to develop his knight properly. So black plays c5. I capture. Black recaptures, developing a piece. And now knight to g5. Now probably best for white could be to castle, because knight to g5 hangs the pawn on g2. But I'm playing more aggressive at this moment. I'm having several pieces in the attack, and I've got enough for a mate threat even. But black takes the bait, bishop takes g2, gaining a pawn and attacking the rook. And black thinks, after knight takes h7, which was played, if he plays, we're going to see all the variations. For instance, bishop takes rook, and I play knight takes rook. He can simply recapture, and I'm down a minor piece and a pawn. So obviously that's not going to work. However, knight takes knight check does work, and of course black cannot recapture with the queen because he will lose the queen because of the bishop. If black recaptures with the pawn, we can bring the queen with g4 check, h5 check, and this will end up with queen h7 mate. So we can see that black is in a lot of trouble for the moment. So queen takes rook does not work. Sorry, bishop takes rook does not work because of knight takes knight, with queen also mating threat. So what else can black play? He can try knight takes knight immediately, but then after queen h5, I'm threatening queen takes on h7 mate, and if knight goes to f6, bishop takes knight to remove the defender, g6 to prevent mate, we lead to queen h8 mate instead because of the bishop that has been freed. Also there's still an attack on the queen as well, just in case. If instead of knight f6, black tries f5 to block the diagonal, so queen takes knight on h7 cannot be played, but we can play rook to g1, threatening to attack the bishop, which may or may not retreat, let's say to d5. Then we can simply crush through, rook takes pawn check, still protected by the bishop, king h8, queen takes mate, doesn't seem to work either. So after knight takes h7, black's in a lot of trouble. Black tries something else, the in-between move bishop b4 check, so I block with the knight. So bishop takes h1 anyways, and we get knight takes knight check, queen takes, dropping the queen, there's little choice. Now bishop takes, of course black cannot recapture because if pawn takes bishop we get queen g4 check with the mate, so he tries g6 instead, queen g4, threatening the bishop among other things, d6, and now I crash through, bishop takes pawn, pawn takes bishop, finally queen takes pawn, checkmate. That was my game using the Polish, a quick win in 19 moves. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.